welcome to my channel. My name's Anna. I love makeup, especially Natasha Denona. And today I want to play with the new Xenon MIDI palette. And I will also do swatches of the small one for comparison. But I want to start out saying I am very confused by, I actually usually try not to watch reviews, but I've seen, for whatever reason, I wanted to watch all the reviews on this. And actually, I think it's because I wasn't going to get it. I originally was like, I don't think I'm going to get that one. But something about it just taunted me. I loved the packaging. And it's also so different from, I don't have any grayscale palettes. I really don't. That's not true. I have a tiny one from Kaleidos. It's like 4 shades. But I digress. I don't have anything of this scale, of this. It's unique to my collection. And I watched so many videos because I was like, well, I'm not gonna review it, so it doesn't matter. But again and again, I heard people saying this is just shades of gray. There's just gray. Like there's no, they were saying that they were seeing that the colors were showing up more gray in person than they were online. And I find that I was actually very impressed with how much variation of color there actually was in this. So we'll do the swatches and I'll show you kind of what I mean. But this is, at least, you know, with my camera and lighting, what it looks like. And personally, I think that looks very pink. I do see like the blue and pink sparkle, the multicolored sparkles in this one are amazing. I think, is this the, yeah, this one totally has blue to it. And then like these are absolutely, they have more of a warm tone than the rest of the shades. So yeah, I'm confused by how people are like, this is just grayscale. Also, like, this is a grayscale palette. That's what it's meant to be. It's like, that's what it is. Anyway, I personally am super impressed by Natasha Denona's curation of the color story in this. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. I just think this is a stunning color story. So that's my 2 cents. I will say this is not a first impression video. I have played with this and worn it once to twice, depending on how you look at it. But I have played with this. So it's not a first impression. I have actually used it. And yeah, today we'll do some swatches and I will do a look with it. Okay, so let's start swatching. I want to swatch these in sort of lightest to deepest order so that we can see the difference in textures within shades that seem similar. Because I think that part of this palette was that the different textures are what make the shades unique. Because some of the shades are somewhat similar, but because of the different textures, I think they're going to read differently. Anyway, so I'm going to swatch them in more of a like lightest to darkest order. So let's start with Stellar, which is described as a sparkling wet effect white. And this one does look very wet and shiny. I think this looks more like a very light silver than well, it's like a whitish silver. But that is very white. It is a bit translucent. And then next, let's go into Rhyme. And that one is described as a metallic white. And that looks actually more like pure white to me. Maybe there's a little bit more of like a color base to it. And next we'll go into the lightest matte, and that is Contrail, which is described as a matte white. I think it looks a little bit more like a cream and not a pure bright white, which I actually like because I think it's going to be more flattering on almost everybody. I don't know that like a chalky white is going to look, it's a very, very specific thing. And I think for Natasha Denona and her style, it totally makes sense to me that this is like just slightly verging on cream. Now I want to go into probably this light gray Blizzard, which is a matte. I'm trying not to get my mirror in there because I know it's a little bit obnoxious. There we go. And this is considered, where is it? Matte light gray Blizzard, right? Yeah. So matte light gray. And you can see it's much more, I think it's much more cool toned than this one. They're all pretty cool, but there's a little more warmth to this. And this is a pretty, it's more like grayscale. I don't see any warmth to that one. All right, let's see. What's next? Let's go into Super Ionic. This was probably my favorite shade in the palette. And this is considered a sparkling foiled silver with multicolored specks. I think this has a bit of a pink tint to it. Like just slightly, or not pink, but like a lilac. That's very pretty. All right, next, I think probably Neve, which I think, well, here, let's see what she describes it as. Sparkling metallic peony pink. So I didn't so much see the pink in this, but I did see a little bit of warmth. It's very subtle, like very, very subtle. So this one, I don't know that I would say pink, but it does have a little bit of a warmth to it. And my order is a little off from lightest to darkest, but I wanted to do it like in a semi-ordered way, in that way. Let's see. Next, I want to go into, let's do Flurry, which is another matte, and that one is considered a matte eggshell. And I would say this is a little bit deeper than an eggshell shade to me. I almost think that Contrail is more of like an eggshell. And then this is more of like a taupey color, like a very light taupey color. Anyway, next up, I'm gonna say that Grew. It's kind of next-ish. And that is a sparkling metallic iron gray. This one looks kind of gunmetal-y to me. All right, pretty. Skift, which is called a sparkling foiled light medium champagne. And I definitely see a lot of warmth in this one for this palette. Definitely warmer than these grays. This is not a gray. This is not a silver. It's, yeah, like a deep, I don't know if champagne is the right word, but look at how warm that is next to that. All right. So then, oh, you know what? I don't think I've gone into Snowbow yet, which should have gone earlier, but here we are. Snowbow, this one definitely looks pink to me. And it's considered a crystal sparkling pink with multicolored specks. And I heard so many reviews say that this just looked silver, and I think it looks pink. I think it looks pink. That looks pink to me. And it has some like blue flecks in there too, like sparkles, but it is pink. It's so pink to me. I don't know. All right, so next up, let's see. I gotta figure out where we are. Do we do snert? No, let's do snert. Snert. Oh, it's so soft. This is a matte medium gray. And that seems absolutely true. Matte medium gray. That did not swatch well. I don't know. Next up, I'm going to go into Ebb, which is considered a metallic midnight blue. And I will say, I see the blue in this. People were saying they don't see the blue. There is a blue tint to this. Like, it's not bright blue, but for a grayscale palette, that has some blue in it. That is blue. Oh, it's so pretty. I really like it. Okay, and this is a lovely color, Cygnus. Sparkling Foiled Anthracite. Oof, look at that. And that's next to that blue tone shade. And look at how different that is. I mean, I think it's very different. Maybe it would look a little similar on the eyes, sure. But I don't think it's fair to say that they're the same or like that this one is gray because it definitely has blue. I mean, it's a grayish blue, but this is a gray toned palette. Okay. All right. I think I have 3 more here. What are they? Night Sky. Right here is a metallic black. Okay. And that's that. How metallic is that? I don't know that that's so metallic. It feels like a cream to powder formula. All right, and then we have Sposh, which is considered a matte cream powder charcoal. So I guess that other one wasn't a cream to powder. It just kind of felt like it because it felt kind of wet. So I don't know. So this is a cream to powder charcoal. And you can see that the color is similar to Night Sky. That this is Night Sky and this is Sposh. The colors are a little bit similar, but they're definitely different textures. And I can see that there is more metallic in this one. So this is the palette from a somewhat lighter to somewhat deeper. Did I get all the shades? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I did. Very good. So you can see the different textures as we go. There are some that look a bit similar. I believe, yeah, this one has more like pink in it to my eye than these two. And then this one has a bit more, it's sort of listed as a pink, maybe very light pink, but it is a little warmer than like these two. And then these are much warmer. This is definitely like pinky purple. And then this has a blue. And then these are the 3 deepest shades. I guess this could be sort of, I should have put this in with these, but this one is definitely a little bit lighter in color, but these do look somewhat similar. And I believe that was Gru and Cygnus. Yes. Although in the mirror they look more the same, and to my eye they look pretty different. So anyways, that is the palette. Okay, so now to do the mini Xenon. to compare the shades. This one is called Puff, this lightest shade. Put it on my other arm so that I can compare them this way. And that looks like so. That one is so similar to my skin tone. But I would say that is deeper than this shade. It is a bit similar to this one, I would say. And in the pan, yeah, it does kind of look like Flurry. It's a little different. Then this next shade is called Mist, this light gray, and it is sort of in between the two grays in this matte grays. Whoops. There's one. So it's a little deeper than that one, and then a little lighter than this one. So put that there, and then compare to the matte grays. A little deeper than that, maybe a little brighter. And lighter than that one, definitely brighter. Okay. And then next is the metallic silver, which was called Chromatic in this palette, which probably would look the most similar to Gru, I suppose. It really is subtly different. This one has more pink to my eye. And that one's Snowbow. Oh yeah, that's the one that is literally called more pink. And this one, I also think looks more pink in this shade, or in this palette, and that is called Super Ionic. Anyways, that looks like this. Very pretty silver. That is a very true silver to my eye. And it's a little deeper than, say, that one. And this one also has more pink in it. So I think that it does not, like, the closest one is going to be, I think that's Super Ionic. And I think that Super Ionic definitely has more pink to it. Whereas this one has, it's more of a pure like silver. All right, and then the next shade is called Gloom. Okay, so this is a medium dark gray, and in the pan, it's definitely deeper than like the grays in this palette, but not quite as deep as like the charcoals or the metallic black. Okay, and then actually swatched out. There it is. It's a little similar to that, but a different texture. And it is lighter. It is more of a gray. And then it's definitely deeper than the matte grays. I'm sort of contorting myself. Hopefully you can see this okay. It's a little hard to film. All right, so then the matte black, I mean, it's a matte black. Let's see, what is it called? Blackest Black. I don't know if this is the same black that's in the My Dream palette or not, but I mean, it's a matte black and it's very black. Ooh, look at that. All right, so matte black. It just looks like velvet, and it definitely, oh, this is easier. Anyway, you can see that that is definitely like black, which is not in the larger palette. Anyways, hopefully that was a little bit hopeful to see those side by side. Okay, cool. So let's do a look. My eyes are primed with my ABH eyeshadow primer, and my Pat McGrath Labs powder. I will say I wore this, I put my makeup on in the car, which I never do, but I just kind of felt like using this because I just got it 2 days ago. And I wanted to use it yesterday, but we were going to the orchards and I knew we wouldn't be able to film, so I just put it on in the car. I did not bring eye primer. I did not prime my eyes or anything. I just put it on my face, just as is. I wasn't wearing any other makeup. And by the end of the day, it definitely had come off. It had definitely, like, in my crease, it was just worn off, like on my eyelid. My eyes are pretty hooded, so the skin touches like the other skin, so it rubs a lot. Anyways, I don't think that happens as much when I do prime my eyes, so just partially why I do prime them. And you can see it's a little bit lighter in color than my skin tone, and it's a cooler tone than my skin tone as well. Anyways, it'll help with some of these, making some of these lighter shades a little bit brighter. So I'm gonna try to focus on probably the more colorful shades in this. So like not as gray, and just see how it turns out. I'm quite curious. So I'm going to start with, I think we'll use Flurry as like an all over crease shade with a fluffy brush. All right, I wanted to zoom in a bit, so here we go. Hopefully my eye is a little bit closer up. And like I said, going into Flurry, and I'm just gonna put that all through my crease. Yeah, that is basically a little cooler. It's like the same value, like light to deep as my skin tone, but a little bit cooler. Interesting. And it actually looks a little more gray on my eye than I was expecting. Well, well, well. Am I going to be proven wrong that there is not that much variation of color in this palette? Or was it like my brush was already dirty with a gray shade? Oopsie. I'm gonna try that. Okay, I think that might have been what just happened. Oh no! Why am I like this? Okay. All right, I'm gonna try that again with a different brush on this eye. And we're gonna go in. Yeah, I think I had used that brush yesterday and not cleaned it well, because this brush is not giving me the same like super gray. It is, you know, it does have a gray tint to it. Okay, actually that is cooler toned than I was expecting. Maybe it was not the brush. Well, regardless, it's actually a very good transition shade for me, and I am pretty fair to light. So interesting. Okay. All right. Well then, next, I think I'm going to use this Ebb shade, which is the metallic blue, I think. It was the one that was considered, you know, like this is my blue shade. And I want to place that on this outer corner and into my crease. I'm going to try to relax my eye and make that a little bit more straight. out. Sometimes it's hard to like get in there when it's relaxed because you can see it's like folded in there. And I haven't found the best solution for this yet. It's almost like I have to like hold my eye open, get in there, and then once I've done that, relax my eye and go up here onto the hood. All right, but I think that is okay for now. Okay, that is definitely giving me a bluish vibe. It's a bluish gray. Okay, now I think I'm going to use this charcoal shade to deepen up that, you know, outer corner and that sposh. And just gonna deepen that up right in the corner. And to my eye, that definitely gives more of a gray than a blue. Or like this looks so blue compared to that to me. I guess it's subtle. I will admit it is subtle, but I do see it. All right, I think that's lovely. Now, I think Snowbow, the one that had the most pink in it to me, kind of a lilac-y shade. I put that all over the lid. And it's giving sort of, almost has like a lilac-y not lavender, more like a lilac-y. It's like the pink and blue specks in there gives sort of a very light, dusty purple that I think is quite beautiful. I think I want to take this ebb with this little bit larger brush and just sort of blend the corners a little bit better. All right, and I want to try this Super Ionic shade on my brow bone. Let's see. That's mighty pretty. Okay, and then this, let's see. I think I want to go for the like kind of the more champagne-y or like neve is, I think, just slightly warmer than these on the bottom. And I want it to be shimmery, so I'm going to use that for the inner highlight, inner corner highlight. All right, yep, I think that gives a really nice glow. Okay, so I think this is the look. I'm trying to see if I have fallout on my face. And I do see here, it's fallen down from here. I will say pretty much every time I put on eyeshadow, I end up with shadow right there from, I have pretty extreme deep set eyes in a way, like you can see it goes in, and so this really does kind of hang down. It's not like it's angled so it falls, it particularly right there. So I think actually it did really well. And especially it's not as bad on this side, which this was the side that I suspected I might have already had shadow on this brush. So it could have been that. So that's maybe a little inconclusive or confusing. But I would say I would say this is giving me a very cool toned, subtly sort of, it's like a gray blue is what it looks like to me. I don't think it's just straight up gray. Would just doing a gray look the same? And I probably should have done 2 separate eyes, but I didn't. And I can't wash it off now because then I can't film until tomorrow anyway. So probably that's going to be another video. But here's some inspo for today. I'll finish my makeup and kind of give you some final thoughts and ideas about the Xenon world. All right, so here we are with the final look. I have so many conflicting thoughts about this. On one hand, okay, first off, I like the final look. I really think that the shimmers in this just give such a nice, like my eyes are just glowing and I can see all of the blue in that. And it's a grayish blue, but I still stand by this was a very well curated color story, because I really don't see this as a bunch of shades of gray. And I know that it's subtle. I know that the variation is quite subtle, but I think it's there. And I feel like this is very cool toned. It's a very cool toned palette. I think the shades were pretty easy to work with. I think they look awesome. Up close, I think I see a little patchiness, maybe in this eye. No, you know, I think it did pretty well. I feel like sometimes grayscale palettes and blacks are hard for me to use. I have sort of deep set, small, hooded eyes, and so often it'll get pretty messy pretty quickly, and I feel like this didn't. And I don't think it did yesterday either when I used more of the like blacky black shades. And I think I'll do more videos with this palette because this palette fascinates me. I'm fascinated by it because it is very different from anything that I have. And I was confused by the reviews that I saw, because when I got this, it was actually, and yes, it's nuanced. Yes, it's subtle, but it had more color than I was expecting. I really like the way this turned out. I will say I have a little warm leaning complexion. And so a lot of my makeup tends to cater to that. And so like, you know, lipsticks and things. I don't generally use very cool toned lipsticks and blushes. I went with a very cool toned blush today. This Kaleidos, I don't know what shade this is called because it's not put anywhere on the packaging. Oh, but I have the packaging. But I had to keep the box, and that's why it's called Dreamwalk. And it's a very unique blush in my collection, because actually first I tried this Pat McGrath Labs, what's this called? Nymphette, which usually looks really good, but it looked terrible with this look. So you will have to go cooler, I think, with everything. And usually Natasha Denona Amorosa looks really good, but I didn't feel like it was quite right for this, so I added a blue tinted lip gloss over it, and I think that helped. I'm also curious. I want to change wigs and see if that makes a difference with how this is looking. Oh, and I wanted to mention too, I used basically a purple toned highlighter from Odin's Eye, and this is like a lavender, it's called Lavender Dream is the shade, and I think it looks great with this palette. I didn't think any other color highlighter, maybe a pink would be okay, but I thought that the purple would be really good because it's like cool toned. And I would say you kind of have to make like all of the makeup work with that. At least I feel like I did. Could be the wig. I always complicate things with a wig. But now I'm going to try a different wig on and see if it makes a difference. So this is the look with the pink. And this is the look with navy. And interesting. I think the different color and the different value, as far as this one, the pink was very light and this is very deep, does kind of change the color of my face even. But I do think they both work with the look. Interesting. I'm fascinated by this palette. I really enjoy it and I'm looking forward to using it more because I don't have anything like this. I guess that's my main point. If there's any takeaway from this video today, because I feel like it was a bit all over the place, but if there's any takeaway, what's happening? Okay. I feel like that takeaway, okay, there we go. I feel like there's any takeaway from this video, it is that this is a unique palette. I just think it's unique. I feel like it has a lot more dimension than a lot of cool toned, just grayscale palettes. I don't think this is just a grayscale palette. Try to get my eye out of there so you can see it. I know I haven't said everything that I'm gonna want to say. I'm gonna have more thoughts later, but for now, that's what I have to say. This is a unique palette. I am impressed with the formula and color curation. And I love the packaging. It's so pretty. It's that whole night sky thing. And I love it. I love it. I love this palette. I am so excited to use it more. And I'm really glad I picked it up. I can't believe I almost didn't. It's beautiful. I really like it. Oh, I also just wanted to, I think Natasha Denona's most cool toned palette, other than this one, is the Glam palette. And so I wanted to pull that out and show you a comparison because this is the next coolest palette, cool toned palette. And it is nothing alike. Like this has such like, it looks so warm compared to this, and it's not. For like another comparison, here's the I Need a Nude with Glam, and it's like kind of on the cooler side too, sort of. This one's a little more neutral, I'd say, but then it's just so different. It's so unique. Anyway, and then one more. Here's Biba, which had some very cool toned shades here. And they're maybe somewhat similar here. Let's swatch them real quick. Just those three sort of more gray shades. I'm gonna swatch them next to the black here. That was not a great swatch, but those are the shades, and I would venture that those are more warm toned than, kind of comparing here. Yeah, those are more warm toned than this palette. And even within all of those cool tones, I think there is some different shades. The pink, there's that blue tint, there are these like champagne. I like it. I just keep going on and on because, okay, all right, no. Here's what it boils down to. it's not just, it's unique. This boils down to, do you like this palette or not? I think it's a personal preference thing. I really think it's a personal preference thing. I personally like it. And I think that's the bottom line. I like it. The formula certainly worked really well. I think that turned out absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that looks really pretty. So I don't know what my conclusion is here. I have no conclusion other than I like it. I like this palette. I really like it. It makes me happy. If it makes you happy, I would say go out and get it. Well, I have said enough. I like this palette, and I hope that you're having a good week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side alive. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side alive.